Hi guys, and welcome to a beginner's guide to modding Skyrim, part 7. The past several episodes have been devoted to making Skyrim look better. However, that is not all there is to modding Skyrim, and what I'm going to do for the rest of this series is show you the types of mods that you can install. From now on, it's less about showing you how to mod your game and more about letting you know the limits or the lack of limits there are to what you can actually do, what you can change, to give you some inspiration to go off and try different types of mods. And I'm going to start by covering some mods that fix some irritations that come with Skyrim. And yes, Skyrim, like many games, has certain things that are a little annoying. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think of annoyances in the vanilla Skyrim are horses. The horses, they're a great idea, but they are not very well done in the vanilla game. If you have never owned a horse in Skyrim, you may not know what I'm talking about, but if you have probably entered dungeons, done whatever it is you're going to do, come out, only to spend the next half an hour running around trying to find your horse. And in fact, very often the only way you can do it is to use the fast travel system and your horse magically appears next to you. And of course that does rather defeat the whole purpose of having a horse. Or you will get attacked by a dragon only to find your horse rushing in to tank the damned thing. And of course, your poor followers have to follow you everywhere on foot. Well, don't worry, there is a mod that fixes all of these issues and actually adds a whole lot of really great features, and that mod is called Convenient Horses. Convenient Horses is just one of those mods I could not play without anymore. The list of features is very impressive. As you can see, my follower now has a horse, and in fact this will work for as many followers as you have. So if you have a mod that gives you extra followers, they will all get horses if you so desire. And you can even set up which horse they get. And you get lots of nice little features, such as the option to be able to talk from horseback. As you see, I don't have to dismount to talk to this fella. You can harvest, there you go, from horseback. A lot more convenient. If you see something by the side of the road and you want to harvest it, you don't have to stop, get off your horse, and so on. However, if you do want to get off your horse quickly, there is a fast dismount system, which is very useful when attacked. Your horses will now follow you. As you wander along, they will follow you at a nice, respectful distance. However, if you get fed up of them following you, you can wave at them, tell them to stop, and they will wait. A little further on, as you can see, they are exactly where I left them, and they will be there when I come back, which is very important. And of course, I can wave at them again, and they'll start following, and off they come. Now, if for some reason you tell them to wait somewhere and you forget where you told them to wait and you can't quite find them, there is a power called Horse Whistle, which will summon them, and they will come running, as you can see off in the distance. Well, that's my horse. The follower's horse is waiting where it was placed. But the horse whistle power is something you develop. You actually have to practice it on people that you talk to. So as you talk to people, you get this option, whistle, whistle, and you whistle at them. And they will look at you like you are slightly mad. But eventually, you will gain the power horse whistle, and you can summon your horse from a distance. Don't worry, if the follower's horse does not follow, he can summon him again with a horn. And the player also has the option to use a horse calling horn. You buy this from one of the stable masters, and if you use it, it will summon your horse from wherever he is. So if you've gotten so far away that whistle does not work, you can use the horn and it will basically magically summon your horse. Very useful, especially if your horse really does get horribly lost. And as if all that convenience was not enough, there are also saddlebags. You can open the saddlebag and store, I think it's unlimited gear in it, which may be a little overpowered, but honestly it really is very convenient. It means you can wander out of a dungeon with all your stuff, load it into your horse, and not have to worry about constantly, lugging things backwards and forwards. It makes having things like tents, firewood if you're using Frostfall, a lot more convenient. And these horse saddlebags can actually be used from inside cities like Whiterun. If I press the horse saddlebag now, it actually teleports me there. It doesn't really teleport you, it just sort of skips the whole process of wandering out of town, going into your horse's saddlebag, and then running back. So I can go here, I can take the ore that I need for smelting, let's say charcoal, and some dragon bones, because they're heavy. Just as an example. Just making stuff up now. And then close it, and I will then go back. It saves you a lot of hassle of going backwards and forwards when doing the little things like crafting, macro managing, and so on. Very useful indeed. One word of warning about these saddlebags. If your horse dies, every item that is on him gets placed back on you. And you could find yourself being horribly overburdened. It has happened to me, and it was not pleasant. Oh, and you apparently can use your horse to charge into opponents and knock them over, although I have never actually tried that. That's not really my style. The mod is very customizable. It has an MCM menu. It also has a power-based menu, which you can use. Convenient horses, which gives you this power menu. However, I recommend using the MCM menu for obvious reasons. It is a lot more user-friendly. There are many options. You can change the way you control things. For example, the harvesting. I've got it set up to use different key presses for the harvesting, talking, and looting. Oh, I forgot to mention, you can loot things from horseback. And in fact, there is an option to auto-loot when you've killed something. I actually disable that because I'm not that keen on it. Basically, I kill something with a bow and it auto-loots the corpse. But you can set all of these using keys, or you can use other control methods if you don't want to use SKSE, because that does require SKSE. I really, really recommend SKSE anyway, so really that's how I would recommend using it. There are a lot of options. For example, horse armor. As you could see, my horse had leather armor on. You can actually change the horse's armor to ebony or whatever it is you actually want. And you can do the same for your follower's armor. In fact, you can actually change the horse skin depending on the follower. I've never bothered with this, but if you want each follower to have a different coloured horse with different armor, you can do this. And the number of options is fairly impressive, actually. You can set up the auto loot mode for things you've killed on horseback, and so on. There are some settings that are worth mentioning. For example, health bonus, stamina bonus, for obvious reasons, and speed bonus. You can actually increase the speed of your horse quite dramatically if you wish, and you can set his behaviour in combat. Will he run away or will he fight? The mod also sets the hostility towards your horses to pretty much non-existent. Creatures will not attack your horse, which may not be realistic, but is very convenient. As you can see, I have changed the speed on my horse, and he is now running considerably faster. Each one of these features is great as far as I'm concerned, but taken in its entirety, this mod is just on my absolute essential list. In fact, I would say this is the one mod I would put at the very top of my list of mods I could not play without. I cannot imagine a playthrough of any sort without this mod. So that is the major mod I'm going to recommend for this video, but there are a couple of others that fix some other tiny irritations. And for example, if you use the convenient horse's power instead of the MCM menu, still not sure why you would do that, but if you do, one of the things you'll notice is in the vanilla game, the keyboard, I am pressing the keys, does absolutely nothing, I'm afraid. I think exit is the only thing. No, exit doesn't work either. You have to click with your mouse. If you use the mouse non-stop, if that's your preferred method of interaction, then you probably don't care. However, if you like to use mouse and keyboard at the same time, that's a little irritating. But the same is also true for dialogue. Again, if you only use the mouse, you probably won't notice this. However, the problem with using the keyboard is whenever you use the activate key to select, it selects whatever it is that you have highlighted. And very often it's not what you think. So, for example, if I use the keyboard and go up and down, you can see I want you to ride is now selected. And so on. However, if I have accidentally left my mouse here, and then I'm using the keyboard thinking that, for example, you guard the caravan is selected because I've not noticed my mouse was here, and then I select it thinking I'm going to use the keyboard to select you guard the caravan, and as you can see, it's chosen the you should ride option. So it's not the end of the world, but it is a minor irritation if you're someone who uses keyboard and mouse. So now let's look at the modded version of that. As you can see, controls, I'm going to move my mouse out of the way, controls is selected and I can use my arrow keys to go back and forth. And if I say go to followers horses and I press the button that would normally exit me out of a menu, it goes to the exit function there and I can then select it with the keyboard. It means I can use keyboard for that power. Which, you know, again, if you don't like to use the keyboard, not going to be useful. But if you do, then very useful. And if I talk to Carjo, and I will now place my mouse somewhere about here, and I will now use my keyboard. And as you can see, my I want you to ride is now underneath the mouse, but I am selecting you guard the caravan.
Yes, I was hired to
and there you go.
others as we walk the road.
Correct dialogue selected.
It is a thankless.
Okay, so let's install these mods, and I'm going to start with Convenient Horses. Now, the Convenient Horses page has got quite a lot of details, and I do encourage you to read them. It's always worth reading all the front page and the README before you install anything. Find out what you are installing. You will also notice a few other mods this mod author has created. One mod, which I have not tried, allows you to manage a herd of horses, and another one that I have tried gives you a demonic fiery horse that leaves flaming footprints behind. Well worth trying out, actually. Obviously, only going to suit certain types of characters, but a lot of fun. However, Convenient Horses is why we are here. Go along to the file section and download with Manager on the latest version. There are some other options, for example, a unique version of the horse called Frost, some alternative textures. You can use those if you wish, but for now, just try the main mod, Convenient Horses, download with Manager. Now, the other two mods that I showed you were better message box controls. This is the one that gives you keyboard controls in those message boxes. Very useful. Indeed, very simple to install. Download with Manager. Better Dialogue Controls was the one that gave us the fix for using mouse and keyboard. Again, download with Manager on the main file. Now, remember, for Convenient Horses, for the full functionality, you're going to need SKSE, and obviously for the menu, you're going to want MCM. I highly recommend those two mods anyway, and if you've been following this series up to now, you probably have those. If you don't, you are going to have to use the double tap method, and you're going to have to use the in-game power menu, not as user-friendly. However, to install the mod is actually child's play. Just select it and activate. The same is true for better dialogue controls and better message box controls. Simply activate the both of those if you've decided to use them. And it's that simple. You can use Boss to help you with the load order if you wish, but from what I have seen, the load order is reasonably irrelevant for these mods. Please note, convenient horses will conflict with mods such as better horses and horse inventory and that type of mod. Anything that does the same thing. However, for me, this has not been a problem because the convenient horses mod seems to be the most complete and advanced horse overhaul mod out there, and it does everything that I need a horse mod to do. When you first load the game after installing convenient horses, you're going to get a lot of messages as it sets itself up. It's got a lot of things to change. Just leave it for a few minutes, it will do its thing, it won't be a problem. Make sure you don't quit before it's finished. I'd wait until it tells you it's totally complete. Okay guys, that is about it for this video. However, there are many mods like these mods. Mods that are designed to remove game mechanics that annoy you. I mean, for example, if you are an archer and you switch between crossbow and bow quite a lot, you may have noticed it always auto-selects your worst arrow. Well, there's a mod called Auto Unequip, and Auto Unequip is designed specifically to make it so when you switch from a bow to a melee weapon, it unequips your arrows. But it has an extra little feature in that if I go to my bow and then switch to crossbow and then back to bow, you'll notice the arrow changed twice. It changed to the worst arrow I had, and then the mod, remembering which arrow I had selected for this bow, changed it yet again, which is very convenient. So instead of fighting with a crossbow and then quickly switching to the bow and then having to go into my inventory and change the arrow to my arrow of choice, the mod did it for me. It's just another little irritation removed. And there are just a host of such mods on Nexus. So the next time you find some game mechanic is annoying you and forcing you to visit your inventory more than you would like, or do something else that you would rather not do over and over again, go along to Nexus and search. You never know. Someone else may have been just as irritated by that as you, and if so, there is a good chance someone has already modded it away. The next video in this series is going to focus on mods that help immerse you in the game. Not in the game mechanics, but in the game itself, the world of Skyrim. You guys are more than welcome to join me for that video, and until then, as always, have fun.